Good morning, all. Today, we are discussing about the policies of a corporate company. Under this, normally, if you have to do if you have to know about the meaning and definition of policy. The policies may be defined as guides to thinking and action of those who have to make decisions in the course of accomplishment of the enterprise objectives. They provide ready answers to all questions focused in the running of an enterprise. The policies are formulated in broad terms and provide a comprehensive and flexible course of action to be pursued to attain given objectives. Normally, these policies are the guidelines. Normally, if you are to attaining the organizational goals, it will help normally the managers to meet the future goals of the organization. And then, we are to knowing about the various definitions relating to the various management experts. According to Kunj and O'Donnell, policies are general statements. These are the general statements or understanding which guide or channel thinking in decision making of subordinates. Normally, every manager if you have to take the decision, normally if you have to based on the policies. In some other definition, according to daily order, a policy is a predetermined and accepted course of thought and action that is defined and established as a guide towards accepted goals of an organization or goals and objectives of the organization. And these are the various definitions relating to the objectives. And if you are to knowing about the what are the characteristics of a good policy. Characteristics of a good policy. Under this, a number of characteristics are there. The first one is broad outlines. Normally, a policy should provide only a broad outline, leaving it to the managers to decide within its framework. If it is made to cover every detail, it would any hamper individual initiate and style. Initiate and style. But at the same time, it should be defined enough to prevent it from being twisted through divergent interpretations. Normally, every policy there is a broad outlook is required. Normally, all the employees working in the organization normally go through those. Normally, you have to designing the broad outlook. The next one is consistent. It must be a consistent one. There may be a number of policies developing with different questions. Hence, it is necessary to ensure that the policies are not mutually contradictory. In case there is inconsistency between any two policies, decision making is bound to be slowed down because managers will not know which of the two policies have greater backing and support of their superiors. Normally, there is a, you are not having any contradictory policies are there, there must be a mutual consistency is required. The next one is adequate number. These should be an adequate number of policies to guide thinking and action in different fields of activities. For example, these should definite policies dealing with production, sales, advertising, finance, etc. At the same time, there should not be any duplication. Normally, there are having certain functional departments are there in the organization. In the case of production department, the personal department, finance department, sales department. There is a correlation between these four departments are highly required if you are attaining the goals. Normally, the every organization, if you have to formulate the policies that can be think about these four functional areas. The next one is sound and practicable. The policies must be sound and it can be a practicable one. Practically, if you are to attain the goals, normally the practicality is highly required if you are to framing the policies. An enterprise is known by the policies it follows. Policies are great image builders. Great image builders. For this reason, policies decided by an enterprise should be sound and logical in every aspect, in every respect. Only then managers can rely on them and confidently tackle a variety of problems. A variety of problems. For that reason, there is a sound and practicable. The next one is flexible. The policies are flexible. It requires the flexibility. Normally, it is based on the what are the changes occur in the society or the markets. Normally, from time to time, you have to slight changes are required in the policies also. For that reason, normally it is only flexible. Though policies are not meant to be changed off and on, there is needed to keep them flexible enough to be adjusted to suit the needs of changing times. Changing times. And then the next one is objective related. The next one is the next one is the objective related. Next, next, next. Objective related. దాని ముందు objective related. Normally, the strategies are objective related. A good policy should be related to the objectives of the company and be in harmony with the economic, political, and social environment of the company. Normally, if you have to, there are having certain influences are there in the from the economic point of view, the political point of view, and societal point of view. These environments can be thoroughly analyzed by the policy frameworks. Normally, the policies are instruments for moving toward the objectives. How to move the or to catch or to meet the objectives of the organization. The policies are instruments. Based on those instruments, we are attaining the goals of the organization. And then the next one is represents desired image of the company. It represents the desired image of the company. A policy should establish the desired image of the company. Policies are useful indicators of the conduct and philosophy of the company and about what the capacity stands for. These policies are being formal statements can easily be communicated to the organizational members as well as outside public. Normally, it represents a desirable image. Normally, every organization, you have to build up certain image. Based on that image, normally, if you have to designing the policies of the organization, it will build up the image of the organization toward the stakeholders of the company and the market. The next one is various types of policies. There are so many types are there under this on the basis of broadness, on the basis of the broadness of the policies that can be divided into two types. One is organizational policies and the next one is functional or departmental policies. Normally, the organizational policies are those policies which apply to the entire organization and which are formulated by the top level managers. Normally, the organization policies are framed prior to keeping into the consideration of the overall objectives of the organization that can be framed by the top level executives and top level managers. It is a broad outlook normally if you are to designing this type of objectives in the case of organizational policies. The next one is functional or departmental policies. These policies are formulated for the special functions of business or department. Its relation is only its relation is only with a particular department instead of the entire organization. Instead of the entire organization. For example, the production policy, the marketing policy, the financial policy, personal policy, and research and developmental policy. Under the there are in every organization there are having certain departments. The important departments are there. Under these, the production department, marketing department, personal department, and research and development policy department. Normally, the each and every department having its own objectives are there. What is the production department? Normally, the main objective of production department is if you are to producing the highly qualitative products, if you are to satisfying the needs and wants of the customers. Normally, if you are to providing the highly qualitative products, it requires the high-end, sophisticated technology is required. Normally, the appropriate raw materials are also required. Normally, if you are to designing those. you are to fulfilling these, normally if you are to satisfying the needs and requirements of the customers. And then if you are to producing the highly qualitative and qualitative products, normally the support of the personal department, the highly qualitative human resource is also one of the important. Normally in the case of personal policies or the personal department, the main objective of the personal department is normally if you are to select the right person, the right jobs. Normally the qualitative and efficient human resource is required. Normally based on that, normally if you are to designing the highly qualitative products. Normally if you are to fulfill these two, normally the support of the financial department, the requirement of the financial support from these departments. Normally finance is the father of the mother of the business. Normally every organization that they require certain financial support is highly essential. If you are to provide these financial supports, normally if you are to producing the highly qualitative products and services. Normally if you are to meet these three, normally if you are to send these to the point of production to the point of consumption, it requires sufficient and required marketing efforts are required. The main objective of the marketing department is if you are to sending the goods from the production place to the consumption place. That is another. Normally, in the case of the another policy, research and development. Research and development is also the another important aspect. Normally, from time to time, for example, in the case of pharmaceutical companies, if you are to investing huge amounts in the research and development, normally if you have to design new and innovative products in the case of medical field, normally there must be a certain integration between these these five functional areas. Normally these are the departmental policies or the functional policies. And then the next one is on the basis of origin. On the basis of origin, the first one is basic policies. Normally, these policies are laid down by the top managers for guiding the functions of their subordinates. They are mostly in written form and are added to the policy manual. Normally, the basic policies, normally the basic requirements of the every organization, basically, normally if you are to framing the certain policy, the basic policy of the production department, normally if you are to designing certain policies related to the product, normally the case of the personal department, it requires the some of the personal and other aspects. The second one is appealed policies. Under the appealed policy, these policies are formulated on the appeals made by the subordinates. When a thing is vague in the main policies, the superior managers lays down a separate policy in way of clarification, and such policies are known as appealed policies. Normally, in the case of appealed policies, the subordinates are also in certain times. Normally, if you have to give certain advice to the top level or mid level managers, normally if you have to, these appeals can be considered by these managers. Normally, if you have to effectively, if you have to meet the goals of the organization. And the third one is imposed policies. These policies are formulated under pressure from external forces like the government, business associations, etc. Normally, in the case of certain circumstances, the governmental influence and the competitor influence is also there. Normally, based on that, we have to change our policy slightly if we are meeting the goals of the organization. Under the pressure of these forces, either the old policies are changed or new policies are laid down for the circumstances prevail in the existing market. Existing market. Next one. On the basis of freedom. The third one is on the basis of freedom. Normally, the first one is general policies. Under the general policies, the subordinates have comparatively more freedom to the decision making. Normally, these can be implemented in the middle level managers. For that reason, they can give certain freedom to those managers. Normally, they are effectively here to implement those policies. For example, under the sales policy of the organization, the goods can be sold on credit, and this is a general policy. Under this policy, the sales officer has the freedom to supply goods on credit to any customers. In such circumstances, the middle level also if you are to taking certain decision based on the situation. Normally, we have to the general policies are framed. The next one is specific policies. Under the specific policies, if under the policy of supplying goods, if under the policy of supplying goods on credit, it is laid down that the debtors, after that, normally if I am sending our PPT to all the students and your WhatsApp groups. On the basis of freedom, the first one is general policies. Under the general policies, the subordinates have comparatively more freedom to take decisions. For example, under the sales policy of the organization, the goods can be sold on credit, and this is a general policy. Under this policy, the sales officer has the freedom to supply goods on credit to any customer. In the case of specific policies, under the policy of supplying goods on credit, it is laid down that the debt, the debit balance of any particular customer should not be more than rupees 50,000. Then it will be specific policy. This will limit the freedom of the sales manager to sold goods on credit. Next, normally if you are to giving the certain slabs can be provided. Normally if you have to do the next one is on the basis of clarity. On the basis of clarity, under this there are three bases are there: written policies, oral policies, or implied policies. The first one is written policies. Those policies which are clarified in writing are called written policies. What are the policies are there normally if you have to in a written way? The great advantage of these policies is the clarification of ideas, but their main drawback is their inflexibility. Normally, if you are in a written way, normally that can be must and should followed by the every employee if you are to fulfilling those objectives through the goals. The next one is oral policies. Oral policies which are conveyed and explained through the medium of spoken words are called oral policies. These policies are flexible and can be changed according to the needs. The next one is implied policies. Under the implied policies, those policies which are neither written nor oral, neither written nor oral, but still are present in an organization are called implied policies. For example, there is no maximum age limit prescribed for recruitment in the organization, but the superior manager on periodically examining the age of the person employed can form an idea that no person above age of 35 be employed. Normally, these are the implied policies. The next one is these are the characteristics of these are the types of various policies. And then the next one is significance of policies. And the significance of policies, it is where the importance can be identified by them normally. The first one is policies serve as an essential guide to decision making. We are to the managers, we are to taking the decision based on the policies framed by the top level executives. The next one is policies establish the limits within which managers at various levels have to make their decisions. This leads to this leads this leads to predictable and consistency in managerial functioning. Normally, these are the policies are established. The next one is policies are shaped after weighting and evaluating a number of factors. As such, these can be applied with equal effect to problems of all types and dimensions. Normally, the all types of areas and dimensions can be followed by this. The next one is with well formulated policies providing ready answers to all possible questions, managers can confidently face any problem situation. Normally, in the case of any problem situation, normally the every manager they can follow the policies. Policy guidelines can be followed within the purview of those guidelines. Normally, we have to effectively we have to meet the goals of the organization, and then policies are intelligently formulated cannot provide a solution to every problem. Normally, these are the guidelines if you have to only if you have to formulate based on that. Normally, based on those policies that can be implemented systematically, if you have to meet the goals of the organization. It is not a ready-made solution for the problems. The next one is policies are serve as guidelines to thinking and action by managers, but not instant problems to solutions. The next one is policies only indicate how and within what limits problems of different kinds have to be tackled, but no substitute for human judgment. The next one is too many policies restrain individual initiative. Normally, the policies are the single policies are required. Normally, the too many policies are there must be a certain deviation in the employee's point of view, and lastly, the managers may get such used uh, much used to follow policies that they may lose capacity to think of themselves. That is the these are the limitations of the policies. They are having certain limitations are there. Under the limitations, the policies are intelligently formulated, cannot provide a solution to every problem. The policies are serve as guidelines to think and action by managers, but not instant problem to solving. Policies only indicate how and within what limits problems of different kinds have to be tackled, but no substitute for human judgment. Too many policies restrain individual initiatives. And finally, managers may got so much used to follow policies that they may lose capacity to thinking for themselves. These are the certain limitations relating to the. Normally, today we are discussing about the what is the meaning of the policies and what are the various definitions relating to the policies and the characteristics of a good policy and what are the types of policies on the basis of broadness, on the basis of origin, on the basis of freedom, on the basis of clarity, and what is the importance and the significance of policies and what are the various limitations of the policies. Is there any doubts or is there any doubts? You can dot the dot box.
సో ఫస్ట్ 6 స్లైడ్స్ ఒకసారి చెప్పండి సార్.
హలో హలో
హలో సార్,
చెప్పండి.
స్టార్టింగ్ 6 స్లైడ్స్ ఒకసారి డిస్ప్లే చేయండి సార్.
స్టార్టింగ్ 6 స్లైడ్స్
ఎస్ సార్.
అంటే క్యారెక్టరిస్టిక్స్ ఆఫ్ ఏ గుడ్ పాలసీ.
పాలసీస్
characteristics. Normally, these are the characteristics of a good policy. Under this, there is a broad outline. The first one is broad outlines. The second one is consistent. The third one is adequate number. The fourth one is sound and practicable. The next one is flexible. The next one is objective related, and then represents desired image of the company. These are the good characteristic policy, characteristics of a good policy. Okay.
ఓకే సార్.
All the students is must and should if you have to join these online classes without fail. Normally, this is the attendance is very transparent. This information is passed on to the higher education, Andhra Pradesh State Council of Higher Education, and at the same time, this can be sent to the Scholarship purpose, the uh, social welfare department. For that purpose, normally if you are to getting the reimbursements and other financial benefits from the government, the attendance is must. So I request all the students must and should to join the online classes. Thank you.